Hello, and welcome to week 15 of Ari on TV. I'm Miss Jess, and this month we're learning about beloved community. When we think about beloved community, we can reflect on the work of BLUU, Black Lives of UU, and DRUUMM, Diverse Revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries. Today we're going to learn more about these organizations and the work they're doing to call out and challenge white supremacy in our UU faith. With their dedicated leadership, we're gaining insights into our faith and learning how to journey into multicultural wholeness. But first, welcome into this quiet place of beauty. We come from busy things. Pausing for a moment for the thoughts that quiet brings. Our chalice lighters this week are the Simmons family.
We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
So I have a whole bunch of letters here with me. You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And sometimes when we put those letters together, we can come up with something that means something else. So for example, here I have FBI. Do you guys know what FBI means? Federal Bureau of Investigation. This should be a familiar one. UU, Unitarian Universalism. How about my favorite? LOL, laughing out loud. Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. And hopefully you all know USA, the United States of America. These letters are called acronyms. And an acronym is an abbreviation of a phrase made by combining the letters of certain words together, often the first letter of each word. Did you know that SCUBA is an acronym? It stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Good thing we don't have to say that each time we go scuba diving. Now, this month's theme is beloved community. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the people that helped all of us understand this important idea and dream. Dr. King imagined the beloved community as a society based on justice, equity, peace, and love of the entire world community. In our Unitarian Universalist religion, there are acronyms in beloved community work that are important to know and honor. That's because these are groups working for a just and whole world without racism. I mentioned some of them a few minutes ago in the introduction to our show. These groups are showing us the way, and we want to honor them. So the first one I have is ARAOMC, and this stands for Anti-Racism, Anti-Oppression, Multicultural. It's a description of a way we want to be as a religion. Next, we have DRUUMM, and DRUUMM stands for Diverse Revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries. It's pronounced just like the instrument. DRUUMM is a collective of people who identify as people of color working together to overcome racism through resistance and transform Unitarian Universalism through multicultural experiences. We also have BLUU, and BLUU really means Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. BLUU is a group of people that came together out of a need for spiritual connection and commitment to creating a more just and loving world for Black people. They developed the 7 principles of the Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. It's their take on the 7 principles of UU as we know them. And they even introduced an 8th principle that we'll learn more about this month. The 8th principle says, we, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, Covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Our faith organization, the Unitarian Universalist Association, has been asked to add this 8th principle into our official list of UU principles. That hasn't been approved yet, but some congregations have decided to start listing and using the 8th principle. Why do you think these congregations are doing this? Do you think our congregation should add the 8th principle before it's official? If you do, what do you think could get our board of trustees to agree with you? Now, all the groups that I mentioned, the BLUU and DRUUMM, they're working hard to help everyone understand how to make Unitarian Universalism an ARA OMC faith, a beloved community. So, what's one of the ways our faith guides us into becoming a people of beloved community? It tells us to honor your Black leaders.
This week, our story is about John Lewis, who was a civil rights leader here in the United States, and what it was like for him growing up. I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Spot. Now, she won't be telling a story because she's a chicken, but she is excited because this story is called Preaching to the Chickens, the story of young John Lewis. In this story, John wants to be a preacher when he grows up, a leader whose words stir hearts to change, minds to think, and bodies to take action. But why wait? When John is put in charge of the family's flock of chickens, he discovers that they make a wonderful congregation. So he preaches to his flock, and they listen, content under his watchful care, riveted by the rhythm of his voice. Now, we're gonna let Spot go. If you're watching with me on Sunday morning, you're in luck, because I'm gonna read this story to you on Zoom. Because here's the thing, an author and an illustrator, both Black creators, worked really hard on this book. Sometimes authors and illustrators give their permission for their work to be freely used, and sometimes they don't. And the author and illustrator of this book, they have not given their permission for their book to be read on the internet. Today we're talking about beloved community and supporting Black leaders. And that means supporting them with our money too. Paying them for their work is how we can show support for the author and illustrator of this book. If you couldn't make it on Sunday morning and are a member of our congregation, have your grown-ups send me an email and you can request that I loan you the copy of our congregation's book for you to read at home. You can also buy it, and that's a wonderful way to support the author and the illustrator. So I want you guys to use your imagination and think about what it would be like for John Lewis growing up with his flock of chickens.
Have you ever made a decision using your courage? How? What ideas can you think of to help build beloved community? Creating beloved community is hard work. There are old wounds to work through and new hurts that will inevitably happen along the way. And yet, we still strive for a better faith and a better world. None of us can do it by ourselves. We have to share and carry the hard work from one generation to the next. Our friend Miss Leah is here with a new song to help us think up some more ideas.
Father, mother, sister, brother.
Father, mother, sister, brother,
All are part of me.
all are part of me.
Teacher, friend, here within, they are all a part of me.
Teacher, friend, here within, they are all a part of me.
I love myself as I love you.
I love myself and I love you.
touch each other and make life true.
We touch each other and make life true.
I am part of this community. It is part of me. I am part of this community. It is part of me. Guys, what is a community?
I don't know.
That's a big word. How would you explain what a community is, Jacob?
I would say that it's a group of people or animals or even plants that live next to each other or close together, and they help each other when they need something.
That is a wonderful description. I love that you included animals and plants, because we don't always think about the fact that they're alive and they interact. And in fact, sometimes if you think about how animals and plants interact, right?
Yeah.
And we, of course, as part of the ecosystem, as part of the animal kingdom, we interact. So our community is even bigger than the community of people who live and work together. What a great idea. So, is our family a community? Is school a community?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let me ask, would it be nice if everyone in a community was the same?
I don't think so, because if everyone was the same, then no one would be able to have new ideas so that we can make the world a better place.
That's a really good idea. Also, if all the members of the community were bees, then how would they make the honey? Where would they get their nectar? And if all the members of the community were flowers, how would they pollinate themselves? We really do work together, right? And we need each other. So, one of my favorite sayings is by the Buddha. It says that the foot feels the foot when it touches the ground. Do you know what that means? The foot feels the foot when it touches the ground. What do you think that means?
Maybe that the foot feels itself touching the ground when it touches the ground.
That's what I think too. I think it means that the foot becomes really aware of what it is when it comes in contact with something else. Because of course a foot can just float in space and be kind of aware of itself. But when it has a relationship with something else, it feels itself in relationship with that other thing. And I think that is part of the joy of living in communities. All of our relationships help us to understand who we are. I am part of this community. It is part of me.
That's it for our show this week. Can you say the words with me for extinguishing the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Don't forget to stop by our virtual RE lab this week. I've put up some links there on the wall that'll help you with your talk to your grown-ups together about race and racism, and how you can learn more about the work of BLUU and DRUUMM. Until next time, blessed be, my loves.